Hi everyone, I'm so excited today because we're doing a DIY. I love doing crafts and this matches makeup and crafts. So it's gonna be good. So I know everybody out there has heard of a Z palette, which is a magnetic container that you can put shadows in. Now last year for my anniversary, there was a 99-cent sale at Coastal Scents on their shadow pots, and I got a bunch of them. And I haven't even used these shadows yet because I haven't had a good place to put them. So I did a little research, looked around. Z palettes are pricey. The magnetic palettes are pricey as well. I'm a crafty person and we're here on a budget. So I said, what can I do to make something that would do that? Voila. This is what I came up with. I took an old CD case, some scrapbook paper, some washi tape, and I will show you step by step how I did it, and some magnetic. This is a magnet sheet. Cut it to fit. Put the names of my shadows and my shadow stick. And now I have this really cute little palette. So I'm so excited to be able to show you guys how you can make your own. You can show your own personality by using a bunch of different scrap papers. This is just one I grabbed to do this. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, so I just picked a scrapbook paper I liked and washi tape I liked, and it turned out awesome. What is even better is these are so great to store. You can set them up. If you wanted, you could even write down the side. You could make this white instead and write whatever palette it is, or you can have, like I'm going to do, my next palette will hold Coastal Scents, so I'm going to use the scrapbook paper again. So all my Coastal Scents palettes will have this washi tape and this, but you can do it your way and personalize it to you. And if you're lucky and maybe you have, or your parents still have, like a CD rack, these will all fit perfectly. And you would have, like if you have one of those huge CD racks, you could have a huge makeup palette stack. So I've got these. I'm also planning on doing some depotting and doing the palettes a slightly different way. Instead of a magnet for like my LA colors, which are okay, and maybe some others that don't stick easily, instead of putting magnets and making them work, I'm just going to glue it to the scrapbook paper. But I'll show you all of that. So we'll go into doing all of that. And yeah, I'm excited. Stay tuned if you want to see how to make your own palettes. Hey everyone, so I'm going to do just a quick add-in piece. This is how to depot your shadows using no heat. You only need a few things for this. I use a bowl. Since I'm diabetic, I have a small like insulin needle. You can use an eyedropper, or if you happen to have a needle, it works really well. Some rubbing alcohol. It's faster the higher percentage you go. You can get 91% at like Walmart's. And I also have just a little pen that I use to sew with. Rubbing alcohol will not hurt your shadows at all. So first thing I like to do is take just a little, put just some in the bowl. Then set that aside. Then you take your needle and pull in the rubbing alcohol. You can pull it in as much as you want. Then if you look at your shadows, let's see. If you look at your shadows, you can see the little pan, the little silver pan. And you try and find, like right there, this is why I really like using the needle. There's a space and you can just inject a little bit of alcohol there, and you're going to do just a little bit around the edge. It's okay if it gets on the shadow. It actually will sanitize your shadows. It won't hurt them at all. So I just try and put a little bit all the way around. Like I said, it's okay if it gets on the shadow, but this way it'll help dissolve the glue. The higher the alcohol that you're able to use, the faster it dries, and actually the stronger alcohol will be able to dissolve the glue a lot easier. And then your next step, this is the hardest part. You have to be really patient. If you're not, you could gouge your eyeshadow. So you just try and fit it between the container and your eyeshadow, and very carefully. As you can see, it's moving around. The great thing about working with the alcohol is if you do gouge like I just did, you can press it back down in there. I usually wait till I'm done because sometimes you do, but you just need to very patiently pull it up, and there you're able to pull it out. Now you can see on the back that there's still some residue and stuff. So I like to take a paper towel. You can dip it into just a little bit of the alcohol and just rub it till it's clean. This will take all the glue off the back, and that is how I depot my eyeshadows using no heat. I just use some isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol, some paper towels. Like I said, you can also do this with an eyedropper. It doesn't have to be a needle. And then that spot where I gouged, I'm going to take a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just, I didn't get hardly any in there. Let me get some more in there. I'm going to take it where I gouged it, just put a little bit right in the pan and press it down. And there we go, voila. Like I said, this is how I depot my eyeshadows without using any heat to melt the glue. I just use that. And so this is a part of the DIY for making our CD cases, but I wanted to show you guys first how I depot other shadows before we do our second way of making the CD cases when we don't use magnetic and we use some old shadows that I'm not sure that these are even magnetic. They may not be, they may not stick, but you could see. So if you still wanted to make these and put them in a magnetic palette, you probably could. But with these, personally, these are my LA colors. With these, I myself am just going to glue them into a palette, and I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, I'm back, and I'm kind of disappointed because I recorded the whole video of using the magnetic sheets, like the CD case that I showed you guys, and I went to put the video from the camera to the computer and it's like nowhere. So here is my finished one. It's the same paper as the other. So I'm going to try this again. When we get to the point where I would use the magnets, I'll let you know. But this one's going to be different. Just going to be, well, when we get there. What you'll need to do these like I said, if you're doing a magnetic one, you'll need the magnetic sheets. I get these at Walmart. It's like $2, so it's $1 a sheet. And I think that you'll actually be able to get 3 of them out of them, because this is what I was left over with. So I think that would do like one more CD case, but like I said, I'm trying to make one without using that at this point. So you'll need that if you're making a magnetic one. You'll need a ruler. I know this one's hard to see because it's clear. I really like to use one of my sewing tapes to do this. So you'll need some scissors, an X-Acto knife, pencil, some glue. I got this at Dollar Tree. It's liquid adhesive. It's supposed to be able to glue all kinds of materials, metals, and stuff like that. So some washi tape, or like this little Scotch tape I found at Dollar Tree. It's different designs. I thought they were cute. And this is optional. A CD case and some scrapbook paper, or if you find something cool on the computer and you want to print it out or whatever, you could do that. But this is the one I'm choosing to use for my next bit of stuff. I showed you guys how to depot. I depotted all of my LA Colors little trios, so I'm setting those aside for now. So yeah, let's get started and see what we can do. So, oh, this one still has a CD in it, so I'm not going to be able to use this one. So I'm going to set that aside and go grab another CD case. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I have one that does not have a CD in it. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to take this front cover out, and I'm going to set it aside, and then we're going to see. I like to take this off. You don't have to, but I like to take the front window off because of what we do next. And the next part is we want to pry out this part that held the disc in. You might need a screwdriver to do that, but if you've got nails, you might be able to do that. Just try and be kind of careful. There, usually once you can get one corner out, it'll go pretty easy. But work carefully because we don't really want to try not to break anything. Bravo. So now we've got this piece out, and we've got this piece. So at this point, I'm going to take the paper out of here, and I'm going to set these two pieces aside. And we're going to do what is the most difficult part of this process. It is also, if you are younger, I mean, even if you're older, sometimes I'll get my husband to do this, because what you're going to want to do is we want to keep this little piece right here. So what we're going to do is take the X-Acto knife, and we're going to score right along this edge. Very, very carefully scoring right across this edge. And I don't like to take it into me, so I'll start from one side and go to the center, and then go to the other side and go that way. And you're going to want to do this a few times because you really want to try and score it deep, because we're going to try to make a clean. Okay, so my camera ran out of battery. This tutorial has just been like the worst. So what I was saying as I got cut off was that we wanted to score that so we could try and make a clean break. And what you'll end up having is just this little piece that we will end up gluing back onto the case, but not yet. So the next thing that we are going to do, which I have already done because I thought I was still recording, is we will take the your scrapbook paper, and you can either measure or use the piece of paper that was in there for the back as a template, and you will cut it out. I put the little marks there to show where it's folded, and then you'll put that down in the bottom of the case, so then you'll have that. Now it's at this point that if you were doing a magnetic case, you would take your magnet sheet. Like I said, I have the two little pieces, which will do one more. I will be able to get one more out of it. So that 2-pack for $2 will make 3 cases. Okay, again, we're going to try this again. Like I said, this has been like the roughest thing. The last thing that I talked about in the previous section was how this would be the point you'd make it magnetic if you wanted to. But we're not doing that with this one, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take the front piece that was in the CD. I'm going to set it here, which I actually already did, and I would take my pencil and outline it, which will leave you an outline of it. Then, taking my scissors, I am going to cut this piece out, just cutting along that line I made. Now, on the first one I made, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to, I won't do it to this one either. But on the first one that I made, because I didn't want this to show, I printed out a piece of paper that had was the right size. You just measured the size, and then I just glued it on over there. So, I mean, you can cover this if you want to. It doesn't matter. For this one, I don't really care if I cover it or not, so I'm cool with just leaving it like it is. So now I'm going to grab the top piece. I just want to make sure that this fits in there properly, and look, it fits wonderfully, beautifully. Got my Hawaiian flowers in there. So now I am going to set that aside, and I'm going to take this again, and I'm going to grab my glue, and I'm going to take that piece we broke off. I'm not going to put a ton of glue on here, but I'm going to put a little bit of glue down. You will probably notice I didn't glue down the paper this time, so I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of glue while we're gluing. Just a little bit. Let me set that aside. Just a little bit to help hold it in place. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to set it back on the side where it fits, and I'm just going to leave it. This glue dries really clear, which is great. So at this point you would pretty much be done. You'd want to let it dry, and then you could hook this back on and everything. But for this one, I am using those shadows that I depotted in the earlier part of this video. My LA Colors shadows that I depotted, and I want to try and I want to write down. I am actually going to write it on this part what each one is. So, but let's go ahead and get everything glued so then we can have the glue drying. So I'm just going to take one of the shadows. And like I said, I'm keeping them in an order, so. And I'm just gonna like put some glue on there. And just gonna set it down right there. Grab another shadow. Glue it. And I'm going to go ahead and do them side by side, leaving just a little bit of space. So I am going to stop the camera for a few minutes. I'm going to finish this and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and this is sat and dried, and I glued all of my eyeshadows there. I wrote down, these are all done like that. There's no individual color names, so I did just put them down this way. Had I known exactly how they'd go in there, I would have probably done it a little differently, but that's okay. So now the last step is just to put tape over here if you want. You don't have to. With this one though, I'm also going to put tape on this side, I believe. So yeah, there we go. Hope you enjoyed this DIY. That was just insane to make, but I hope you guys learned something from it. I know I did, about my camera, about all kinds of stuff. Let me turn on the light. This might help you see a little better. Yeah, see, this is just insane for me, but there you go. There's where I wrote them down. It's one of those days. I am only human. So if you guys like this DIY, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.